Right, so here's the engine all degreased, vacuumed, blown off and ready for its coat of zinc-rich epoxy. I'm doing this today because I've got some Porsche bits in, inlet manifold, rocker covers, whatever. So I'm going to be epoxying them at the same time. I find it easier to be able to do Celica stuff while we're doing other jobs. So let's just crack on and let's get it done. Boom. Right, so there we go. The block is in its primer. Looking nice. I haven't done too much in this area, it's no point. Obviously there are oil galleries and all that. So yeah, looking good. Got these Porsche bits done. I know it's nothing to do with Celica, but then manifold for the V8 Porsche. And the cam covers look nice, don't they? All when they're all done in primer. Right, so gonna let that flash off and probably hit it with some black. Very nice. Right, okay, about to spray the epoxy black on the engine block. When you're painting a block like this, there's so many nooks and crannies and crevices and whatever. The way I do it is, I will aim the gun at a 45-degree angle and I will go across this way. And then what I'll do is, I'll come back across this way. And then I'll come across top and then I'll come across the other way. Just to make sure it gets in everywhere. You can see here, because this has been primed for the second time. Don't ask, long story. You can see here, I haven't quite got enough primer in this area, but there was plenty of primer on before. So yeah, let's get some epoxy black on it and let's see what it looks like. I'll try and video it. Don't know how it'll come out, but let's roll. The hubs have quit going over as well. Here we go, another table full of bits, this time for the front end. The amount of stuff that's been on this table, I think everything from the car has been on this table at one time or the other. So we've got steering rack, we have got steering rack refurb kits, okay, along with new boots, because I took the boot off this side, which is we're right-hand drive in the UK, and the boot was full of oil, power steering fluid, been leaking out of there, so we need to replace the seals in here. I got involved in GT4 plate, and we've got the full kit, so that needs doing. New boots, new track rods and rod ends, so that will be the steering completely overhauled. We've got some studs there for the front drive flanges. They're just getting shot blasted and painted. We have got the front hubs. They've all been blasted and painted, along with all the ABS sensor stuff. And yeah, new wheel bearing. The other one is somewhere else, I'm not sure where that is. So yeah, these are all ready. And we're going to get the steering rack off and get it rebuilt. I'm not sure we're going to get any video on that. And yeah, the block is painted, looking mint. What's that doing there? Needs a good clean inside. Fabulous. Looking good. Let's B-roll. Right then, here we go. We have all the bits for the front end, as listed before. And even though there's a few things that still need doing, like the bearing, the flanges need pressing into the bearings, into the hubs, and also the steering rack needs rebuilding. I want to start bolting things on, and I want to get it closer to getting off axle stand and on its wheels. So in order to do that, obviously we have axle stands here. Let's change it to that. So we have axle stands here because that was the strongest point of the car. Obviously they're going to interfere with where we bolt the new pieces on, the lower arms, the braces, subframe and all that. So I need to jack it up, and I'm going to rest it on the sills, which obviously is all new metal and has been strengthened. There's not so much weight on it because there's no engine, running gear, gearbox, whatever. So that's going to do for the time being while we bolt everything up, and then it can be bolted. Then these can literally be dropped down and put under the subframe. So I'm not going to video me messing around with jack for 20 minutes, but let's get this party started. Right, okie doke, so there we go. Axle stands under the sills. Just put a bit of padding on there because, you know, fresh paint and all. It's not doing a lot, and it's probably the worst place to have a support jack, but that's literally there just in case one of these fails. It would give me enough time to get out from under the car. Safety is paramount, isn't it? So now that's jacked up there, I can start by weighing up what goes where, tapping out any holes that need tapping, and any studs that need dyeing, I suppose, isn't it? So yeah, greasing up all the bolts. Oh, it's a nightmare. But listen, onwards and upwards. Right, okay, so from a previous episode, we've got the front lower arms. We've got the, whatever you want to call that, subframe brace piece. We've got bushes to go in here. We have also got the front hubs that need the bearings pressing into them, which are here. There's the flange to be pressed into the bearing, to be pressed into the hub, whatever. We've got the steering rack that needs rebuilding, but I can start to bolt these pieces on. Yeah, and I've also got, where is it? So just down here, because I need to clean the coilovers. So let's crack on. I'm not going to do too much filming because it's going to get a bit boring, just see me bolt stuff on. But we'll do a few bits and bobs and see where we're at. Boom. Right, very important. I am greasing every mating surface. This bolts up to the bottom of the car, yeah? So put a layer of grease on it, on every bit that's going to touch up against the underbody of the car. It means it's still going to dig into the paint, but it's going to make it a lot easier to remove. And also the bolts, and also the studs on the car. Little things like this make a massive difference if I need to disassemble. Okay, keep that in mind. It's the right way to do it. A little grease goes a long way. Okay, lower arm in place, a couple of bolts in there. The studs come through for the subframe assembly. So obviously once the hub's attached and the coilover's attached, that moves up and down with the wheel. So I'll get that sorted now, and then we'll go from there. Okay, both lower arms on with the ball joints, with the hub, even though the bearings aren't in yet, flanges, and the coilovers. So they're bolted up at the back there. So now we're going to put the support brace in, which links the two together, goes across. There is a special procedure to do it. That's why these back ones are in and all these aren't. They're set on the studs, they're ready to go in. So it's hard to film, but I'm just going to stick it on. And there we go. Lower arms in, support brace in. So that ties it all together and basically makes it a bit like a front subframe. Yeah. obviously, like we said, hubs have got to come back off because they need the bearings putting in. But everything's in place. It's a lot easier just to quickly unbolt the hub now and put the bearings in rather than messing around. And I had a free afternoon, so let's just get things done. It looks super clean, doesn't it? It looks as good as the rear. We've got the front brace to go in. Right, well happy. Right, so here's the front cross member with its relevant poly bushes, which links the rear bulkhead to the front, and obviously it has mounts on it for, I'm not quite sure what fits on it. It must be the gearbox, I think. Gearbox or something must sit on that as well. So let's get it in. You'll have to excuse me today. I'm absolutely full of cold or man flu or whatever you want to call it. But I'm a trooper and I'm cracking on. So let's get this on. Boom. Right, there we go, all bolted on. Cross member in place, poly bushes, everything's all sorted. Now obviously, I will repeat myself again, this all has to come off. This is solely for the purpose of being able to get it back on its wheels so we can get it next door and get it on the ramp. Because obviously, engine's not going in with that in, is it? But once everything's bolted up and in place, I know where I am. And the piles of nuts and bolts and parts is getting smaller and smaller by the day. So I'm very happy where I am. We're going to get the bearings in now and see how we get on. So that's it for this episode. I'm going to go to bed because I'm feeling rough as a bear's arse. Take care of yourself, guys. See you next time. Bye!